Look, there's countless paths that you can follow to get rich in 2025. You've probably seen hundreds of videos about it pop up in your fucking feed. But what I can tell you is that most of those videos are gonna go into business models like trading, Amazon FBA, starting an agency, all of those things. And I've done multiple of those business models myself and made them successful. I know very fucking well how it works, right? But the problem with those business models is that you either need a lot of upfront capital to be able to make it work, right? Which is a high risk, especially if you're a first-time entrepreneur, and or you need to learn multiple skills in order to make it work, which once again is suboptimal if you're a first-time entrepreneur. And lastly, a lot of them are just simply trends that you can hop on that's gonna work for a little bit, but then once it died out, you're left with nothing, all right? And today I'm gonna show you, if you're a young, ambitious guy, okay, who doesn't mind speaking to people, who doesn't mind improving his communication skills and whatnot. So this is also not for everybody, right? If you're an introverted dude who just wants to look at spreadsheets all day, this is not fucking for you. You can click off this video. But if that does fit you, I'm gonna show you the most guaranteed path, not just to 10K a month, like a pussy, but to 20, 30, 40, 50K a month in the exact same business model that me and my partner Nick do, that Nick's crushing in there, 50K a month off his own personal production. And that path is called digital sales. Now, when I say the word sales, you're probably already turning your head and thinking like, oh, I've heard this fucking shit before, right? Because you probably heard about appointment setting, or you probably heard about high ticket sales in the information space and that kind of stuff. But what I'm here to tell you is that it's absolutely not that, okay? Because in those sales spaces, yes, you can make 10, 20, 30K a month, but the problem is that you're still gonna be dependent on the company you work for. You're really gonna be in a job essentially, and really there's no room or potential to really grow to serious numbers, right? Unless you wanna segue into another position or build your own business or whatever. The sales space that I'm telling you about today is in financial services. And in this sales space, what you can do is you can not only close deals where you get $1,000 of upfront commission, but you also get residual contract value, because what we sell is life insurance, okay, which is lifetime. And so you get a contract value that gets you paid residually, passive income, year over year, okay? And additionally, for every contract that you close that goes into your book of business, okay, which means a list of contracts that you can ultimately, after a couple of years, only if you're in this for the long game, you can literally sell that for a large amount to private equity, right? And if you want to learn exactly how to do that, you can look at the link in the description, because there's a video with slides and all of the proof and all of the guys that I've taught that are making, you know, multi-5 figures a month and all that kind of stuff. And you can check that out for the step-by-step. But with that being said, the third thing about it is that you're guaranteed to, if you're doing it well yourself, to be able to build a team under you, okay? And then you're gonna get a manager's fee for managing those people. Now, if you want literally me to build your team under you, okay, because we have so many people coming in and we're looking for leaders that we can coach to 10K a month, and then we can start staffing people under you so you don't even have to get people yourself, then once again, for more information on that, click the link in the description. But with that being said, the main reasons that this business model, that this is the most guaranteed path to 10, 20, 30, 50K a month, okay? Let's keep it at like 20 to 30 for now to be realistic, okay? Within a reasonable 90 to 180 day time frame. The reason for that, guys, is what I just said in the beginning. Most of the business models that you see out there are based on products, right? And when they're based on a service, they're based on a service that, you know, you're gonna have to fulfill, where you're gonna need to learn multiple skills. And it's very difficult if you're just starting out. And then you also first of all have to sell it, and then you have to do all the shit after you sell it, right? And then the first thing is, if it's based on a product, then you now have to invest thousands of dollars into products that you don't even know yet if they're gonna resonate with the market, right? So essentially what you wanna do is, when you're starting a hustle and you don't wanna start a unicorn billion-dollar company like Facebook or Uber, then you don't need to find something that's revolutionizing. You don't need to find and reinvent the wheel here, okay, guys? Just like I'm reinventing the goddamn position of this camera. You only need to find something that works, okay, that the market wants, and that they will keep wanting forever. And life insurance is that, okay? It's something that has been around forever, and it's going to be around forever because people fucking die and people have families that they want to insure for when they're gone, okay? They want to insure themselves for when their funeral comes so their family isn't left with the fucking bill. This is something that people need, that people want, okay? So it will always remain there. Now, again, comparing that to other business models and other opportunity where you need to now find a product, or you need to now dropship things, you need to put in thousands of dollars, etc., and then maybe get something out of it, that's very high risk, okay? And so here, you're gonna be able to do that. Now, comparing it to other sales positions, right? If you're gonna sell in info or coaching, and I've done millions myself in info, literally, okay? If you don't know who I am yet, you can look me up. But either way, with that being said, the problem there is that, okay, you get the short-term cash flow. Okay, that's great. And you're gonna learn the skill of sales. That's even more amazing, because actually, as a side point, most billionaires, okay, most guys are extremely successful. They started out in some form of sales. And even me, I started out in door-to-door sales. I'll pop up a picture of myself when I was like 17 or something. Okay, but anyway, with that being said, that's all great. But the problem is, then you're getting this cash flow, you're closing these deals, and now you're having to hop on calls for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, which is fine, right? But where's the future potential, okay? Because you're dependent on the marketing of the company in order for you to grow. If they don't grow more, right, then you're not going to be able to go into a manager's position or whatever. And even if you are there, right, maybe someone else is getting that manager's position within the company, and now you're screwed, right? You're always going to have to like spin off and do your own business or whatever in order to really grow further and get even more freedom. But in the opportunity I'm talking to you about today, you actually will, if you just do well, always have the opportunity to get people under you, right, that are going to be able to produce, and you're just going to coach them a bit and manage them, and therefore you get a managed fee. And that, guys, is so important, because if your subconscious knows that in the future it's going to get easier, more passive, and more income, then it becomes much easier to work hard and really master the skill in the short term. Because I'm also wanting to put out the expectation here and set expectations properly. This is not fucking easy. I'm saying this is the most guaranteed path. This is the most doable path. It's the most simple, okay? And there's so many people doing it that are absolutely fucking stupid, okay, to be honest. So if you're not that, then you can certainly do this. But with that being said, it's not easy. You're gonna have to obviously go at least for 2 to 3 months to really get on the phones yourself a lot, okay? And you really have to master the skill, and you really have to get good at sales and all of those things. But with that being said, with that comes countless other benefits, because it's not a business model where you're just sitting behind the computer all day and looking at products and this and that. This business model, if you master this, you're going to master communication, confidence, coming across while having a great energy. And that's gonna serve you in every area of your life, okay? So you're gonna be able to go out and about, right? Your social life is gonna be better. You're gonna be able to network with people better. You're gonna be just generally more confident. You're gonna know more about psychology and how things work. That's gonna help you in every single area of your life, right? And so that you get as a side benefit on top of the cash. Now let me actually run you through what it looks like, okay? A day in the life of you selling life insurance and you being in the financial services space in sales. So by the way, as a side note, do you know financial services is the industry that has produced consistently the most millionaires in America, okay? Just FYI. But with that being said, all that you're gonna do is you're gonna get behind your desk, okay, in the morning, in the afternoon, whatever, you can build your own schedule entirely. You're gonna grab a script that we're gonna give you word for word, okay? Then you're gonna grab your computer where you're gonna plug into our dialing system, which essentially just goes through a list of leads that have opted in to our marketing stuff, where they say, hey, listen, I want and I need life insurance, and I want to know my quotes, I want to know what it looks like for me, okay? So this is the list of leads that you're gonna be working with. You get this list of leads, right? And then you're gonna be going through the script. Now, if you wanna really hit about 20K a month, whatever, you wanna hit 500 dials a day, okay? 300 to 500 dials a day. And if you wanna know the exact numbers, then once again, click the link in the description, because I'm gonna take you through that. And you might think that's a lot, but most people in this space, they dial manually. Click, 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 zzz, 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 and then if someone picks up, they run through the script, right? What we do is we have systems and software that we paid a lot of money for that go and grab your whole lead list, and they start calling 5 people at a time automatically, and you just literally click, okay, I'm ready to dial. You sit back, you have your headphones in, and it goes dialing, and then someone picks up and it hangs up the other calls, okay? Then once it hangs up because you just closed the deal, it goes on to the next one, and you wait about 5 to 10 seconds, and then it picks up, and then you go to the next one, and it dials so many people at the same time that you get through those 500 dials, right? That sounds like a lot, but it really isn't with that system. You get through that in a couple hours, okay? So once you do that, you get on the phone, and you literally just go through the script word for word. You open it up, right? Then you go for the script word for word. And then you're more of an advisor than a salesperson. Because all these other sales spaces, you literally have to really convince people that they want and that they need this, or this is the right thing for them. Because, for example, if you're selling coaching, right, you need to sell someone on the fact that this is the thing that they need to get coaching on. Then you need to sell someone on the fact that they need to do this now. Then you need to sell someone on the fact that they need to do it with you, right? There's many different sales points that you need to cover to put someone in the buying pocket to actually get them to say yes, right? Then you need to convince them it's worth the money, right? All of those kinds of things, okay? And so with this, you have people that literally just need it, right? Because they have to get it, because otherwise their family is obviously going to be absolutely screwed once they pass away. And so you go for the script, and you're more of an advisor, as I said. You're literally going through these things, and then you're asking them questions. You're plugging that into the computer system, where you just say, okay, their age is this, they have no ailments, okay, these are the medications, click, 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 that they're on, etc., right? And then it's going to roll out different options for them in terms of life insurance with the different rates. So essentially what we do, right, if I compare the way that we teach people and how we place people, we also, in our training, right, if you click the link in the description, we have a guaranteed placement for you. Right now we have a guarantee on 10K a month within 90 days, or we work with you for free entirely until you do, and everything is covered. But you'll see that more about that in the video. With that being said, guys, a lot of insurance companies, right, that you could work for potentially are insurance companies. What's the problem with that? If you, let's say that you are a salesperson for airlines, and then you are working for American Airlines, and you have to sell people on their flights. And you get on a call with someone, and you ask them, hey, what day do you want to fly? What time? And when do you want to go back? And you can only sell them American Airlines. Sometimes, as we all know, you get absolutely screwed with American Airlines, okay? And the prices are way fucking higher than some other airlines that might be just as good. And so, if you are trying to push someone American Airlines, but that might not actually be the best thing for them, even if it is the best thing for them, it seems like you're just trying to sell them, right? It's not genuine. What we do is essentially the Insurance Expedia model, okay? Which means that we're a brokerage that's connected to all the different insurance companies, and all you have to do is get on a call with someone, go through their data, their information with them, plug it in, and then it rolls out the different options that you can have. And with the rates that they can have. And you could just tell them, okay, so listen, with this company, this is the rate, and this is your coverage. With this company, this is the rate, and these are probably your two best options here, and this is a third option, but it doesn't look that good, right? And you let them choose. Now that's much easier and much more genuine. You're actually helping people get the right fit, right? Instead of just pushing something down their throat that might not even be the best. So that makes it a lot easier. You just go for the script, you tell them what the options are, you get them to choose, and you handle the sale on the call. Okay, and that's it. You just made, boom, $900-ish, okay? And so from there on, every year you get about 3 to 5% of that sale value that remains active, that you get year on year. Okay, so you build up a residual. Then, as I said in the beginning of the video, the more contracts you close have this residual value. So if you end up closing a lot of contracts over a couple years span, now you have this book of business. That's what that's called, okay? A list of contracts that you've closed. And so from there on, you can start talking to private equity. Now this is years down the line, guys. I don't want to make it too complex, but that is great future potential, right? Years down the line, you can actually sell that for a one-off fee, right, with a multiple of 1 to maybe 3, 4x, okay, the contract value, right? And so with that, you're going to literally be able to not just make 10, 20, 30, 50K a month, but literally do this into your retirement fund and go fuck off on the beach or whatever the hell you want to do. Start your other business, whatever, right? And so the reason for that is because, I'll give you an example, right? Justin Bieber sold his album catalog for 200 million, right? Why did he do that? Or why was that possible? Because the album spits out money, right? Year on year, month for month. And so he's just getting an upfront sum, and the investors, they get the residual value because they're more long-term minded in that sense, okay? So that's how that works. You get all the things that you could possibly want in a business model without the downsides. You get the short-term cash flow, you get to learn the most important skill in life, which is communication, confidence, etc., right? Your energy. Number 3, you get to literally do this into your retirement, get exit potential in business, right? Which very few businesses properly have. And then number 4 is that you're literally going to be able to build a team under you, because once you achieve 10K a month, 15K a month, right? Then everybody, right, that knows you, that even slightly knows you, that sees you on social media. Now this kid's fucking flying business class, right? Now he's living somewhere else. Hey, what the hell are you doing, right? They're gonna ask you, and you're gonna tell them, and if they want to join, then they want to join. and you can literally start training them, okay? So in that sense, you're gonna be able to get a manager's fee. And then as you do well, you're gonna move up, move up, move up, right? So that's how that works. And that's why you're gonna be able to work your way into this semi-passive income, because you're not actually gonna have to be on the phones yourself. You're working your way into a position where you're a manager, and it's a much more leveraged position. In business, you always wanna be looking for leverage, okay? And so this is a path that can get you there. Not only to the money, but to a position where you're not gonna spin your wheels, always having to work. Now, I like to work really fucking hard, but that's because I want to, and it's important to me for my, not only the money, but the personal growth, right? I wanna fucking crush it, I wanna work hard. It's my purpose. But with that being said, it's great if you don't necessarily have to. And you can take a vacation wherever you want. You can do this remote, you can do your own schedule, you can work late, you can work early, whatever the fuck you want, okay? And so with that being said, okay, it's not an actual script, it's a fucking book, but that being said, literally, call list of leads with the auto dialer, go through a script, close deals, okay? If you call like these 500 people, you're gonna get about 50 pickups, okay? You're gonna have 10 proper conversations where you go through the full script, and you're gonna close 1 to 2 deals a day, if you're on average, if you're starting out. Now that's gonna allow you, as I just said, to get about $750, $800 commission upfronted, and you can do the math on that. What's that? Times 30, right? If you're working 30 days a month. Now, if you're only working during the week and this and that, so that's gonna work out to literally 15, 20K a month, okay? If we're talking really average numbers here. And so that's literally the start. And from there on, the residual value is gonna be building up. Your team is gonna be under you, okay? Where you get a percentage of their deals, et cetera, okay? It's gonna build up more and more and more over time. So guys, there's no more guaranteed path that has all these upsides and not these downsides. Once again, if you want my personal help and a guarantee on hitting that 10K a month within the 90 days, and I can only do that because of the business model, not because I'm so great, okay, maybe a little bit, but then click the link in the description. I'll talk to you personally, okay? We'll check out if this is something we can do. And with that phone being ringing, I'll see you in the next one.